And when I first came out here, I was really impressed at the few trails that we had, but I was also impressed with the people that were involved in the trail work and wanting to get more trails in here. And then, I don't know if you've been told, but the piece that we're on right now, this Hog Canyon trail system, it's part of a SRMA, Special Recreation Management Area. And when we created the SRMA, half of the SRMA from about where we started this morning when we came into Hog Canyon, in this direction to the east, it's all motorized SRMA. And so we encourage the ATV use, we encourage, motorcycles, side-by-sides, whatever you really want to use. Jeeps, you'll hear a lot about the Jeep Club coming in here and things like that. But it's not limited to that. There are people that can still ride horses. You can hike in here if you want to. I need to leave a little sooner, so I parked my vehicle, it's the green one, parked down there on the road, up against the curb. I like to hike and trail run a lot, and so there's a deer trail that comes up here, and it comes right here, right where those rocks are, to this picnic table. So I'll come up here sometimes on a run and then use these roads, kind of loop them around and then go back down again. And so recreation is really important to me, important to the BLM, and to be able to get people out here using ATVs or side-by-sides or horses or motorcycles, or if you're kind of a nutcase and you like to hike and run up here, you could do that too. So this is an ideal spot for that. And working with the clubs has been ideal because they've been really good at helping us maintain the trails, clean the trails up, promoting trails. And this one is one of my favorite because as you're coming out here, you kind of get that impression that you're in the middle of nowhere. And I was telling my driver today, my driver that doesn't see green, only sees red. Benson. Yeah. There was a biologist that worked for us about 15 years ago, and he didn't like these wide open spaces for whatever reason. It just scared him. One time we were coming around on a machine, and the machine broke down for a few minutes till I got it started again, and he just panicked. He thought he's never going to see his family again. And I said, Kanab is a mile and a half away as the crow flies. I said, we're not going to die, but he just felt like it was just all coming apart now. And we got the machine running, we got him home. But that's one of the impressive things to me is as you saw this morning, you could get in your machine in Kanab. You can leave Kanab, get into this trail system, and you think you're in the middle of nowhere, and you kind of are, but Kanab's never that far away. We did all this driving today, and we were relatively close to town. If you don't like that, we have the other trail that goes off over towards Nephi pasture and goes into some other country over there. But I've been really impressed with the trail work and the trails that we have, and impressed with the type of trails that we have. The whole idea of having trails that are a little bit easier for folks that don't like the more challenging stuff versus the things that people like to do that takes a little more of a challenge. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves today and the next couple of days, and I hope you appreciate as much as I do the collaborative efforts between ourselves and the clubs and the various clubs to promote the public coming out here and using these public lands. I'm a big fan of public lands. I'm a big fan of people using them. I'll close with this. I was telling a gentleman this morning, maybe it was you, I had some folks come in, I think they were from Texas, and they had told me there's not a lot of places for them to go in Texas with ATVs. They didn't own ATVs. They wanted to hunt. There wasn't a lot of places for them to hunt unless they could do it on private land and pay some money for it. Well, they were trying to draw out on a Paunsaugunt mule deer tag, and they were successful, but when they came and saw all this, they decided to buy a couple of ATVs. They'd never been in a position where they really needed ATVs. It was always a guided hunt or kind of a canned hunt, but now they were going to be able to spend time here. And the Paunsaugunt deer unit starts at Highway 89 and comes east, and it's everything that we're looking at. And so they were pretty excited to have a reason to tell their wives that they had to go out and buy had to get two ATVs now. No way they were going to be successful with this Paunsaugunt deer tag. So
once in a lifetime.
Anyway, I'll shut up. Whit'll probably want to take another 15 or 20 minutes because he talks a lot longer than I do.
Give him his ice cream so he stops, will you?
I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad you guys are taking a look at these trails. Appreciate you.
Thanks for all your help, Harry.
Yeah, I'll be going off this here in a minute. I got to get a son to a doctor's appointment. My wife started working again a couple of years ago. She's a speech pathologist, and she told me Saturday, I hope you're not too busy Monday, because she has to go over to Valley and somebody need to get my son to the doctor. So she doesn't see this as work. I'll show her pictures today and she says, that's not work. I said, somebody has to go out
That's
with those
right,
guys.
somebody's job.
That's Work.
I don't know if Harry mentioned it, but Harry's the interim manager of the Grand Staircase for a year, and Whit is the new field office manager. So make sure that you write all your letters about opening the Paria to Harry Barber. All right.
And I spell Harry W-H-I-T. It's an unusual spelling.
It is. Yeah.
So is both of your jobs temporary and you're going to revert, or are you going to retire? Are you going to be president of the United States and place of Trump, or what's going on?
I'm not heading for president, I don't think. Right now, my plan is to go back, but I'm sure there'll be some changes. And some of those changes, I think, will lead to Whit and I having to make a decision on exactly where we fit in.
Depends on if we get our work done. We
Back
don't
here,
have a job.
You will never get your work done. You guys don't work fast enough. We'll throw more shit at you, that's all.
There's the Grand Staircase office and the Kanab Field office. So Whit and I it's kind of bumped into two positions. I'm temporarily over the Grand Staircase, and unless he doesn't let me come back, he's temporarily over the Kanab Field office.
He kind of alluded to that this morning when we were talking.
He's been slowly moving things into my office. I saw his wife's picture on my table. I said, moving a little fast there, Whit.
That's not the truth. You know, I don't know that I can add any more to what.
Thank you very much.
No, I spent most of my time with BLM on the Arizona Strip, and it's just been 2 years that I've been back in Kanab. And back by mean I was born and raised here, and I was telling Tony this morning on our ride that there's a lot of things that I have not seen, you know, having been born and raised here. And this is the first time that I've ever been on this trail on any kind of a bike, you know, ATV. But you know, kudos to our local ATV club here and the work that they're doing. I think that I'm big into collaboration in terms of my thinking. That's how we really get things done, is that the ATV club and the rest of the clubs, the trail groups and stuff, that's really how we get work done, and you act as a you know, a steward and help, you know, watch things for BLM. So in my mind, it's a win-win. Now, yeah, we have a lot of challenges that we have to deal with, and it's nice to have partners as we go into these challenges. And everybody knows what I'm talking about with challenges with public lands and trying to keep some semblance of multiple use on those lands. I get and understand that there's maybe some areas that, you know, that we need to look at differently, but by and large, I think Harry and I are on the same page that we want to see these our public lands used, but used wisely. I think that the ATV groups, I own an ATV, but I think they get a bad rap a lot of the times, and it's not the ATV, it's the use of the machines, and it's very similar to guns or anything else, you know. I mean, it's simple. It's simple stuff, but no, we're trying hard to, I think, on both sides, and Harry really laid a lot of the groundwork. He's been here, like he said, a long time, and it's been fun for me to come in kind of in the role that I'm at now, learning a lot, but learning to work with folks like yourselves and other groups. I really, again, think that that's how we really make things happen and maintain what we've got here. We live in world-class scenery throughout Utah. This is no exception to other places that we have in the state, and so we're trying hard to keep things open so we can use it responsibly. And again, thanks for the invitation. It's been a pleasure to be with you today, and I guess I'll be continuing. Harry will head off the hill.
Drop off the ledge.
Drop off the ledge.
Any questions for either one of these guys?